Hello. Welcome to Thomas and Claire's Italian Adventure Part 5. Um, we will be covering the last 2 days, which was our movement to Florence and then our big day in Florence. So, to see the details about traveling to Florence, I will be uploading a separate small video. Needless to say, we did eventually get there. Um, the train ride was smooth and easy once we got on the train. Yep.
Yeah, it's quick. 157 miles an hour. Almost fast. Smooth.
Yeah, it went between Rome and Florence in like an hour and a half. So pretty impressive. We got here. It was really easy to find the place we were staying. It was really only a couple blocks from the train station, and we had a much easier time getting the place. Someone answered the phone and was here, and she wasn't quite done cleaning, so we dropped her stuff off and then went to get lunch. But the place is beautiful. It's like a one-bedroom apartment. It's really nice. It has like exposed beam ceilings. Like it's big
Those kind of exposed beam ceilings. It has a separate kitchen
with
area
a washer.
with a washer for your clothes and for your dishes. It has a big TV station, like media console. All my clothes are drying because I got to wash them. And then it also has a big bedroom and also a really nice modern bathroom. You can see kind of back there. So that was a welcome addition after our experience in Rome with the old, tiny, cramped bathroom.
Yeah, so very nice place. Really a one-bedroom apartment versus more of a studio in Rome. Anyway, so we got lunch and it was really good. We both had sandwiches. They seem to really like sandwiches in Florence a lot more than I would say in Rome, where we didn't really see a lot of sandwiches. Um, what else did we do that afternoon? Went and got gelato, which was really good.
The first place we went was closed, so we went to the second place, and it was probably the best gelato we
Mhm.
have ever had.
Florence is apparently like they claim that gelato originated here. I don't know, but so it's really good.
It's very good.
Um,
So then, what did we?
yeah,
So we
what
walked
else?
around and we saw La Duomo, which
Duomo.
Dome, which is this giant cathedral which has a dome. So we mentioned earlier how the Pantheon was the inspiration for St. Peter's Basilica's dome. Well, this dome was actually before St. Peter's Basilica, and it was also inspired by the Pantheon. But the thing that's unique about this church is it still has all the marble outside of it, so it's kind of got this white, green, and red themed color to it because it actually is still adorned with marble. And there's a humongous line to get in, but like the tour books we had said it's not really worth going in, so we never did go in.
Well, I think the other thing about it that's important is that it was like the first Renaissance big building to be
Yes,
built. So this
it was the
dome,
first dome since the Pantheon.
right?
So
So this dome isn't even really a dome exactly in terms
it's,
of proportions. It's yeah, but um, but it sort of set the precedent for all the other ones that would come
mm-hmm.
after it. So
And
that's
it's
kind
a rather large building and
of, oh
everything.
yeah,
So
it's really impressive. But we didn't go in.
So we wandered around. We came back here, kind of rested, and then we went to dinner. We didn't go to dinner. I went and ran across town and got some pizzas. Got like a zucchini and a potato pizza.
I wasn't feeling very well, so
I think we're both just kind of sick of, I don't know, been traveling quite a bit and it wore us down a little
we're
bit.
hitting vacation fatigue here.
Yeah. So last night we mostly just hung out here, and there's a supermarket next door that has a lot of stuff. So we got crackers and fizzy water and whatnot, and stayed here last night. And then this morning was our one full day in Florence. So I went out to a bakery and got some stuff for breakfast. And then we got prepared and realized we were early for our museum entry times. So we went to the market that's like 1 block away and wandered through that.
It's a food market.
It's like a food market downstairs. It's a lot like the market we stayed next to in Barcelona. Like a lot of meat and produce and cheese.
And then up on the second floor, they actually have like little restaurant-y.
It's very modern.
Yeah, it's probably the most modern place we've seen.
Yeah, it's like something that you build in the States, like the end result of like the market. We had a cappuccino upstairs, and then
And it was nice. We decided that's a good place to go because they were cheap there.
oh yeah,
There was plenty of
it
seating,
was
and it
super
was
cheap.
really air conditioned. So
Yeah, which are three very important things. And we walked back, and Claire went into a leather store.
leather is big here.
Leather is huge here, but there's a lot of like cheap China knockoff stuff.
Right. It's like there's all these like
Lots.
street market stuff selling leather. It's like, oh, there
It
like
smells fake.
yeah. So I'm debating on whether or not I should buy a bag, but obviously I'm gonna buy one from a more reputable place. So
And then let's see. Then we came back here, rested for a little bit, and then we went to the two museums. The first one is the
Uffizi.
Uffizi. It's down by the river. It's like an old Medici, like their compound, if you want to call it that. It's like because it was there that family art collection is what started all this. And the big thing that they have there is it the Birth of Venus? Is that the Birth of Venus?
Botticelli.
It's a painting. I don't think I'd ever heard of it.
It's the girl like with the clamshell.
She's standing on a clamshell, and two people like blowing on her, and someone else is picking at her hair. I don't think I'd ever seen it.
I think most people that watch this will know exactly what we're talking about.
I'm sure. Well, your mom already said she knew what we were talking about, but I anyway, there was a lot of Leonardo and a lot of Michelangelo in there, and it was a very impressive building. But we didn't have an audio guide.
We probably should have gotten one, but they said it was like 3 hours, and it was like, oh my god, I can't handle that.
Yeah, and it was the museum itself was not perfectly designed. I don't know, like throwing it under the bus, but all the signage. It's bad when you walk up to a sign that's in Italian and English and you can't identify which part is the English. Let me just say that. So I didn't know what anything was. I didn't know why it was important. You had to there was like this big corridor and you went off into rooms. And
it was not.
It was very unclear. And then suddenly there'd be like a room that was decorated. So it was like it had like really valuable statues. So it was like blocked. Like you could look into the room, but you couldn't go in. So suddenly you're in this big line of moving tourists, and it's just like bam, like jam, you're done, and everyone kind of like bottles up against this blockade because they all think you can keep going forward, and there's all these pushy tourists in there, and
Thomas was not. He wasn't having it this morning.
Yeah, it just wasn't my favorite. The line to get in was ridiculous. Like we had to go to one line to get our tickets that we'd already reserved, and then another line to get in.
Tickets.
So we had tickets, which means we had to go pick them up, which was one thing, and then we had to go wait to get in, which was another thing, which wasn't that bad, but it was more difficult than it should have been.
Yeah, well, the regular line was 2 hours.
The regular line, and even the guy in the book, Rick Steves' book, he was like, you should contemplate the IQ of the people waiting in that line. It's like, why would you stand there for like 3 hours to get in? Made no sense. So when we left, we were there longer than we thought we were going to be. So we thought we were going to have time to like go to another leather store or like get gelato, but we had like no time. So we ended up
another reservation at this other museum.
Right. So we're going to the second museum here. And so on our way, we tried to go to get gelato, and there was this huge line of British tourists that we had to wade through, but we didn't want to not get gelato.
I was like, damn it, we walked all the way over here. I was like, we already had our tickets for the museum because they printed off both of them, like the first museum and the second museum, so we didn't have to go through another line for that.
So we just had to go in.
You know what?
So we stayed, we got the gelato. Claire said it was better than the first day. I don't know. They were really both good.
It was good. We had like pear with caramel.
You can't go wrong.
And like just a crema one, and then some other one that
it was supposed to be pistachio, but it wasn't. But it was good. They were all good. So we walked, and then we had kind of a hike, and both of our feet hurt, and it was like the classic, like we're cranky and we're not doing well. But we were going to see this last museum, and we get in line. which is huge. And there's this.
No, we're in the short line. The other line's
But we're
huge.
in the shorter version because we have tickets. The people who don't have tickets are stupid. And we're waiting to get in. The girl in front of us is like a teenager, and she's having a meltdown. She doesn't want to be there. And her dad or whatever guardian is just not having it. Like he's like, dude, this is not happening. You're not doing this right now. So we felt. I honestly felt a little better because it was like, well, at least we're doing better than she is. And we got in, and we basically like walk into this museum and go through all the metal detector, and then like turn a corner. We're like, "What's here?" We both look down the end of the hall. We're like, "Oh, there's David, the big statue, like the classic Renaissance statue." And the thing that's very different about this one is that he is super tall. He's like 17 feet tall, standing on top of like a 6 foot block. So it's like large.
He's
You
big.
you don't miss it. It's very like present, and it's really the only thing of importance that that museum had. They had some unfinished Michelangelo statues, and they had like history of musical instruments, and they had some other things.
There's some other
But
paintings and stuff, but
really, you're there for
you're there
David.
for David. That's all.
And so we stayed and looked at him, and then meandered home afterwards and rested,
Yeah,
and then had a nice dinner.
just had a nice dinner.